Spartan Transportation and Spartan Logistic Management is your one source for all your shipping needs. 53-foot dry van shipments, auto transport shipments, full-service in-house brokerage, drop-lot facilities, just-in-time deliveries to all auto manufacturers, facilities in St. Louis, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, and Indianapolis, Indiana. Spartan Logistics, LLC, proud sponsor of the IROC Series, Kyle Steffens, UMP Modified and Silver Crown driver, and Gordy Gundaker, World of Outlaws late model. Visit us at spartan-logistics.net or find us on Facebook.
You under my skin, closing up to the edge, and the story to spin, set to enter the stage. You think you know, oh, time to roll. You under my skin.
How long has NASCAR been racing at Martinsville Speedway? Since the very beginning. On July 4th, 1947, more than 4,000 fans jammed into the one-year-old dirt half-mile racetrack to watch Fonty Flock beat his brother Tim, Buck Baker, and sanctioning body founder Bill France himself in NASCAR's sixth ever race. The racetrack that Clay Earls carved out of the Virginia countryside was shaped like a paperclip and just 137 feet more than a half mile in length. Other than an asphalt pave job in 1955 and the addition of more durable concrete lanes and the 12-degree banked corners 21 years later, Martinsville Speedway, the only remaining NASCAR venue from the 1947 season, is the same configuration it was when the gates were first opened. Oh, and then there's the addition of the grandstands to increase seating capacity from the original total of 750 to the 85,000 plus it boasts today. Now a NASCAR property, Martinsville hosts the Cup Series, Truck Series, Late Model Stock, and the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. With short, tight, modestly banked corners, the competition is tight and can get quite physical. After 500 laps around Martinsville, few, if any, cars are unscathed. And race winners know they've earned their trophies. Tonight, it's race number 7 of the IROC Challenge Series, and it's next on HBR TV. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the virtual Martinsville Speedway, race number 7 of the IROC Challenge Series, presented by Coles County Speedway. Coles County jumping on board as a primary sponsor here as the season got underway. Continue to do so throughout the season. Let's take a look at our race details tonight. Qualifying and practice already complete, but 150 laps the race distance soon to follow. 78-degree air temperature, 45% humidity. Partly cloudy skies and a 2-mile-per-hour breeze. Track temp 127 degrees Fahrenheit. Drivers have a full fuel load on board tonight and 4 sets of tires over the wall available if necessary. Recently, we have added a fast repair to this series. 18 trucks in the field tonight. We might be in store for a pretty good race. We do have 3 green-white checkers available to us as well if the need arises, but we'll see if it comes to that. Again, a smaller field, 18 trucks. That's pretty manageable here on the half mile. With that, let's go down trackside here to see who's fastest, at least in this session, to no one's surprise. It's the 51 of Kyle Turzak. We remember watching Kyle in the Late Model Stock Series last season. Put on a show, dominating performance. Not quite up to pace by comparison here in the truck, but certainly quick just about everywhere we go. And I just anticipate his skills here on the short track going to be close to unmatched. As I say that, Chris Mefford, who's pretty quick on the short tracks as well, matches or beats that time by about 0.03 of a second, 20.11 for Mefford. Turzak now second quick. Brian McCann, Mike Cook, Brandon Mefford, the top 5. Less than a minute on the warm-up session here. Get into our starting grid. The interesting thing it's going to be to watch tonight is how Turzak can maintain the pace in that truck. Obviously, the truck much heavier than the late model stock he's so accustomed to. There it is, Barney waving the checkers on the session. That'll wrap it up. Warm-up complete. Chris Mefford, the top time, 20.11. Then Turzak with a 14. Then it was McCann with a 15. But all that goes out the window. You can't win the race in the warm-up session, so let's get to our starting grid. On the pole position, with a lap time of 20.120, it's the 76 of Brent Butler. Outside front row, the Charity Motorsports machine of Brandon Mefford. Starting in the second row, it's the 3 of Brian McCann and Tim Schofield. Row number 3, Kyle Pendergraft and Mike Cook. Row 4, it's Casey Bentz and Brandon Leclerc. Row 5, Todd Kleek and William Tyndall. Starting in the 11th position, it's going to be the number 46 of Chris Mefford. 12th starter, it's going to be Newt Quick in the 4. Chris Wally starts in the 13th position with Zach Kleek to his outside. Kyle Turzak starting from 15th. Neil Quick 16th. Larry Bruner will roll off in the 17th position with Adam Benefield starting in the number 9 in the 18th and final starting position. Your starting grid here from Martinsville Speedway. Field going to roll here right about now as we get underway here. One pace lap before we go green. Again, 4 sets of tires, a full fuel load on board tonight. Yeah, we're on a short track, so we're going to go 2 pace laps before we see the green flag. Field 2x2 presenting itself to the mains grandstand here on the front straightaway. See that pace car duck down into the pit entry here in the entrance to turn number 3. Field's got to loop its way around here back to the main straightaway. Pace car in, green flag in the air. We're racing from Martinsville. No, trouble already. Caution is out just like that. We've got a couple of trucks involved here. Chris Wally is one of them, Larry Bruner another. Seemed to be more than that involved. I think we saw the 12 of Tim Schofield get moved up into the outside wall as well, but just like that, we don't make it to turn 1 and we're under yellow the first time. See if we can replay this here in just a moment. All right, let's take a look. It looks like it's already underway here. We'll back it up a bit. See Schofield in the fence here coming to green. I don't know if he just didn't fire, missed a shift. See fire out of the pipes of the 12. He spun the tires. The 85 of Cook comes in, runs into the back. Big checkup from everybody else. 21 of Brandon Leclerc gets a piece of this as well. And this is a separate incident just behind. Let's reverse this here a little further and take a look. Chris Wally and Turzak. Wally's slow on the start, or is he checking up because he sees what's going on? Terzak's tucked in pretty close, and the visibility there, it's hard to really catch. And, of course, every part of your brain is saying go, 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 because they're dropping the flag here at the start. So in the first 100 feet, we get our first caution of the night. Butler's going to maintain the top spot. Then it'll be Brandon Mefford to the outside. So the front row unchanged. Couple of drivers on pit lane currently. Mike Cook, Brandon Leclerc, and Larry Bruner. Leclerc, a little bit of nose damage, trying to get that straight as possible. Larry Bruner back at it. Pace car lights are out, so we're going to try this again. Field exits turn number 2. Pace car getting ready to head back into the pits. We get the restart here, lap 7.
Green flag.
And we try it again. Green back in the air. One truck up the racetrack into the wall. Not sure exactly who that was. 45 it looks like. Indeed, Todd Cleek drove it up the racetrack and pounded the outside safer barrier. Truck just looked like it didn't want to turn. Went right up the racetrack. Well, everybody's starting to get singled back out. Move for position here. Terzak was taking a peek to the inside of Tyndall. Terzak on the charge, going to let him know he is there. A little bit of a bump off the 8. 51 of Terzak to the inside in turn 3. He'll take the spot. Battle for position here as the 4 of Newt Quick goes to the inside on Zach Cleek. Cleek a little loose on exit, might have smacked the wall just a hair out of the corner. Now Neil Quick alongside. Brandon Leclerc going to follow the 2 on through. Cleek's going to lose some spots here. Needle out front, Butler still leads over Brandon Mefford and Brian McCann. The top 3 unchanged, 12 laps complete. Cleek gets the wall again. Off turn number 4. Oh, Newt Quick. A little out of shape off turn number 2. Gathers it back up and drives it deep into turn 3. I thought he was going to go up the racetrack and door smack the 21 of Leclerc. Side-by-side action here now for the 12th position. Quick and Leclerc going at it. Leclerc in the number 21, trailing the 4 of Newt Quick. A lot of drivers having trouble getting the power down on corner exits. See a lot of trucks stepping on the line. A little bit of contact. Looks like Quick tried to pull it down to the inside. Wasn't quite clear. Looks like Leclerc caught him a big-time break there. Oh, real loose again. New quick, too much rear brake. He's going to drift it through the corner, and around he goes into the inside safer barrier. Very off the pace here. Back to start finish, though. Barney keeps the green flag in the air. And we got more trouble. It certainly sounded like it. Might have been Mike Cook. Indeed it was, and Cook is around. Cook facing the wrong direction off turn 2 as the field goes on by. The 85 machine going to lose a lap at least here. Well, let's get a look, see what happened. See, Newt quick there to the inside. He was slow, trying to get gathered back up. Don't think that had anything to do with this incident. And yeah, Cook just drives it way deep into the corner. You saw how quickly it closed up on Cleek. Slides up the racetrack. You see the 44, Larry Bruner, trying to avoid. He gets through relatively clean. But then you see Cook back on the power, and it just comes around on him. Again, I haven't driven these trucks here at Martinsville since the latest tire update, which is not super recent anymore, but it certainly seems like these trucks are a lot more of a handful than they once were. Chris Mefford hits pit lane, so does Newt Quick. Chris has been in here now 23, 24, and 25 seconds plus. Still sits in the truck. It's going to head back out. Maybe getting some repairs made. Hard to say. So we begin lap 20 here at Martinsville, finishing up caution number 2. Pace car lights still ablaze. So we should get a restart, I would say, at lap 22. While we wrap up this caution near the end of segment 1 of season 9. Texas Motor Speedway next week. Sorry, not next week, 2 weeks. We did skip Atlanta last week. Going to try and shoehorn that into a later segment within the season. Details to follow on that. Pace car back in. Field off turn 4. Green flag back in the air. Butler on the throttle. Gets the jump on Mefford. Terzak's worked himself back up into the top 5 now. Their 15th place starting position. Terzak running in behind the 27 and Casey Bentz. Black and yellow machine just up ahead. Terzak to the bottom. He's going to take over the 4th spot from Bentz.
Should be a caution.
And yellow back out.
Get a look at your gauges. Everything good?
Todd Kleek involved in this one, facing the wrong way here, just past start finish. 45 gets her righted. Let's take a look. The 8, little loose on exit. So was the 45. I don't know if that was just an overreaction by Kleek when he saw the 8 get sideways, but nevertheless, Kleek spins it around in front of the 2 of Neil Quick. They make some pretty significant impact. Larry Bruner's going to try to avoid. He comes down. He hits the inside pit wall. There you have it. Pit stop's underway. Butler bolting on a set of tires here. It looks like that's going to be the call just about everybody up and down pit lane. Few stayed out. Chris Wally was one of them. Remember, he pitted lap 3. Brandon Leclerc stays out. So 28 laps in the books here at Martinsville. Working caution number 3. Chris Wally is your new leader. Leclerc will restart to the outside. Those two drivers did not pit this time around. Wally made a pit stop at lap 3. It appeared to me just fuel, maybe a little bit of a repair. Leclerc came down at lap 18, not that long ago. Chris Mefford lap 19. Brian McCann, who runs 4th, was lap 26 on this caution just now. So that was the case for everybody else as well. Terzak's back in the pits, though. If Terzak didn't get all of his tires that he wanted or went fuel only, it's hard to say. We'll see what he does here. This is just maybe a top off. .2 seconds for Terzak. Can't imagine that was for fuel. I think he was trying to get a little bit of body repair done on that machine. Possibly the same for Neil Quick. Chris Wally with some new colors this week as well. That almost looks like a Busch Light throwback from the early 2000s. Chris will probably either correct me or tell me I'm right later on. I don't know, we'll see, but looking pretty good. Pace car hits pit lane. Restart will be lap 31. Get back underway. Chris Wally, Brandon Leclerc on the front row, then Mefford, McCann, Butler, and then Brandon Mefford. Row 3.
Green flag.
A little wiggle. Leclerc loses the back tires a bit on the restart. 3 wide into turn 1. Leclerc way up the racetrack, loses a bunch of spots on the jump. Wally maintains the top spot for now, but Chris Mefford charging hard, looking to the inside on the exit of turn 4. Wally maintaining the race lead for the time being. McCann side by side with Chris Mefford as Kleek's up in the wall off turn 2. Wally using all of the racetrack. Oh, and drives it in too deep. Slides it way up the track. 3 wide again. McCann and Mefford are going to go around. Wally's going to catch the wall off at turn 4 and lose a bunch of spots. Back out front now, the 3 of Brian McCann overtakes the top spot. McCann with 3 wins on the season to this point. Race number 7, could it be win number 4? Plenty of racing left before we make that call. Meanwhile, Butler taking a peek back to the inside of Brandon Mefford. Butler made a pit stop this caution, took 4 tires, so he's going to be ready to move through. He's fast in practice, certainly has been fast in the early stages of this race. Continues to work alongside the 46 of Chris Mefford. Might have the spot here on the exit at turn 4. He does. A little bit of contact between the Meffords. Chris and Brandon coming to blows off turn number 4. And real loose up the racetrack. Chris Mefford slides, drives it too deep. Mefford versus Mefford into turn number 3. Brandon gets clear, takes the spot, move the 83 up into the 3rd spot. Chris Mefford back to 4th. While Brian McCann stretching his lead out to just over a second over Brent Butler. William Tyndall in the 8 machine. Casey Bentz, the 27, was starting to reel him in, it seemed, at least in the entry to turn number 3. Bentz drives it deep. Closes the gap considerably on the brakes, but Tyndall drives away on corner exit. Extends the gap to about 3 truck lengths. You see Bentz closes the gap to about 2 truck lengths here in the middle of 3 and 4. It was much closer a lap ago. Meanwhile, Terzak trying to work his way back through the field yet again as he clears Tim Schofield. Terzak back in P7. Did make an extra pit stop on the last caution. Oh, Terzak catches the wall on exit of 4. Unassisted. Again, we mentioned that early on in the broadcast how Terzak lights out on these short tracks in the late model stock. It was a dominating force last season. But in these trucks, a much heavier machine, taking a bit of an adjustment for the 51 of Terzak. Still fast out there, but certainly not as bulletproof as he was last season. Meanwhile, Chris Mefford starting to slip back just a bit. He's slipped back to the 5th position. Still stuck on the outside as Bentz tries to get to the inside. He does. He is there. A little loose on exit for the 46. Keeps it off the door of the 27. Terzak there in behind, watching that all unfold. He's going to try and chase Casey on through. Take that spot from Mefford as well. Side-by-side action into 3 and 4. Terzak thought about looking to the inside of Bentz as Tyndall real loose on exit. We've seen a bunch of that here this afternoon. Bentz is going to try and go around the long way here, around the 8 of William Tyndall. Terzak's going to get chopped off here. Terzak in the 6th spot. This is the fight now for the 5th position. Tyndall bouncing off the safer barrier down the straightaway. Terzak's clear. Move the 51 up into the top 5. Big wiggle off turn 4. Don't know if Tyndall made a little bit of contact, but there's Tyndall back to the inside. Drives it deep. Crossover from Terzak. Might have been some contact off turn number 2, but Terzak went from losing the spot to back to the inside. Slide job from Tyndall. Crossover from Terzak. Terzak's now back to the bottom. Another crossover from Tyndall. These two continue to battle for the 5th position. And Tyndall drives it in deep. Crossover from Terzak. Slide job, crossover, slide job, crossover. Last 2 laps, that's been the story of this battle. Fun to watch, but I think Tyndall might have gotten the hint. Still not giving up, though. Drives it deep. Got real close to the tailgate of the 51 machine, but I think Terzak might have just a tick more pace right now. In fact, he does. About 0.2 a lap faster. Meanwhile, out front, Brian McCann still the race leader. Butler second by 2 seconds in the rears.
Caution is out.
And caution, Nuke Quick in trouble quickly. Always goes right back to pit lane here as soon as the incident happened. He might be just giving up on this session now. Let's take a look, see what happened here to the 4. And Nuke may have burned an early fast repair. That would explain why he's out of the session so quickly. Watch to see what happened with the 4. He clips the curb. Just going to unload the left side of the truck, and he just loses it, really. Pretty significant hit to the inside pit wall, and he just comes to a stop at start-finish. That brings us out under the caution flag yet again. Stops underway. Brian McCann bringing just about everybody down pit lane. Neil Quick stays out. Four tires and fuel for Brian McCann. He's down and away. We're 1/3 distance here in Martinsville. So as I said, Neil Quick stayed on the racetrack. So did Zachary Cleek. So the top 2 machines did not pit this time. Neil in his familiar Miller Genuine Draft paint scheme. Throwback to Rusty Wallace. So Brian McCann will restart in the 3rd position. He's the first truck out there with new tires. It's been about 23, 24 laps under green since the top 2 made their pit stops. And again, Neil Quick stopped at lap 28, but it appears that was a fuel-only stop. He's topping things off, so he's gambling a bit here with the tires. We saw Chris Wally able to hold off the Challengers for a little while, but once he made a very small mistake, turned into a big one, he lost a bunch of spots. Wally now back in P14, but you saw as soon as he got to the outside, he was free falling. Pace car back in pit lane. Barney with the green in hand. Quick and Cleek to the stripe. We're back underway. Big time wiggle out of both leaders. Brian McCann caught wind of it, and he goes to the outside. He's going to take over the race lead, or is he? The battle through turn 2, side by side. Cleek up the racetrack. And Brian McCann back to the point. Terzak's going to take advantage too. He gets to the inside of Neil Quick. He'll take over P2. He'll set his sights on the 3 of Brian McCann. Oh, we got a truck around the 14. Kyle Pendergraft loses it off turn number 2. Caution number 5. See what happened here to the 14. A little bit of a stack up here. Schofield lifted to stay off the back of the 83. Kind of checked everybody up. But that wasn't even it. It doesn't appear. Leclerc gets into the back of Pendergraft, sends him around into the inside wall. So I think Neil Quick's going to take the opportunity to take those tires now. Indeed, he is. So 4 tires and fuel for Neil Quick. Got a comment in the HBR TV chat from Mike Cook. I don't know how old it is. I missed it earlier, but he says the rear's real hot. Just went bye-bye. Cook talking about the rear tires on the trucks. Again, track temperature here today, 131 degrees. A little roasty toasty out there. It's Goodyear tires getting a little hot and greasy out there. And the pace car lights are out, so next time by lap 60, we'll be back under the green flag. And a familiar sight at the front of the field, Brian McCann and Kyle Terzak, 1 and 2, as we come back to green. Remember, these two battled it out all season long last season in the late model stock.
Green flag.
Terzak goes early, has to check up. Butler gets into the back of McCann. The gamesmanship in full effect here at Martinsville. Terzak slips to P3, but Butler to the outside, still not able to get clear of the 51. They still battle this out. Butler certainly no slouch. Back into turn one, he clears Terzak, takes over the second spot. Terzak maybe a little bump there in the exit of turn four, the middle of 3 and 4 really. Doesn't really phase the 76 at all to this point. Butler drives it a little too deep, slides up a lane, opens the door for Terzak on the exit of 2. Terzak's got a nose in. Drives it deep into 3, gets alongside. Butler forced up the racetrack again. Brandon Mefford may try and follow him through to steal that spot. Not enough momentum there for either driver. Terzak still not quite clear. Terzak to the bottom, forces Butler up a little further again. Now Terzak clear side by side for third is Mefford and Butler. Mefford going to try and do the same. Puts the truck down to the bottom, following Terzak through. He also gets clear, so move Butler back to fourth. Kyle Pendergraft still in it. Still on the lead lap as he takes another position away. Pendergraft now up into P13.
Caution's out.
And we have a caution again. Pendergraft, oh, we got many drivers involved in this one. Pendergraft, Bruner, Tyndall, Mike Cook, and Mr. Cleek as well. So 5 trucks involved in caution number 6. Well, let's unpack this one. Pendergraft just loses it. Back it up a little further. I don't know if he got into that inside curb or not. No, it doesn't look like it. Just too much rear brake. That's the thing with these cars or trucks in that matter. You put a lot of rear brake in them, you can be real late on the brakes, but if you overdo it ever so slightly, this is what happens. The truck comes around, factor in the high track temperatures, those rear tires get hot, they get slippery, and this is the end result. Unfortunately for Pendergraft, it happens in front of other drivers. Tyndall, not really a part of it, but he spins up ahead of these drivers. So Pendergraft, Bruner, Cook, and Cleek comes in late just to add insult to injury. Drivers involved in that incident will hit pit lane. Bruner, Tyndall, Cook, and Cleek. Pendergraph stays out. As Kyle thinks his damage isn't as bad as it could be. Let's try and get a look at that truck. It doesn't look great. Kind of looks like a Martinsville truck, though. Nose is pushed in a bit. Rear bumper pushed in a bit. Little dings and dents on the driver's side. Right side doesn't need to be reskinned. Maybe the right rear quarter. So Brian McCann still leads. Terzak to the outside. Terzak will get another crack here. See if McCann will force Terzak to jump early again. Green flag back in the air. No games this time. McCann gets away clean. Terzak tucks back in behind. Mefford's there as well. 1, 2, 3 to the inside, and Brett Butler working to the outside for a moment. Wasn't able to get it done. Tucks in behind Mefford. Terzak might have got into McCann. McCann goes around. It was very close, but the caution comes out again. Just a few laps shy of halfway. Brian McCann trying to get that truck righted. I don't know if there was contact. We were just going to switch to those two when McCann went around. McCann trying to get caught to the back of the field here. Barney aggressively waving that yellow flag. Well, let's get a look at it. Terzak got real loose on entry. Back of the truck stepped out, and in trying to save it, he went into the right rear of McCann around the 3 goes. Not a hard impact from the front or rear. Just a bit of frustration, I think, for Brian McCann. I don't know, did something happen with Terzak just a moment ago? Let's take a look at this. So this is something you see is very common in short track racing, which is kind of the realm that Terzak comes from. So if you cause the accident, regardless of whether it was intentional or not, you go to the back. I don't know that that's an official rule in this series. I haven't heard that, but good job by Terzak, kind of falling on the sword there. But it's going to put Terzak restarting with McCann again, so that'll be fun to watch. Just past halfway here at Martinsville Speedway, working caution number 7. It's been an eventful one. Talked about how only 18 trucks here at Martinsville might keep things pretty clean, but I think it's given everybody a false sense of security. Mike Cook confirms it. Kyle asked for the EOL, which is kind of what I expected. Or assumed was the case. I guess that's a better term. Kyle knows he got into him. Again, it didn't look intentional in the replay by any means. Kyle got loose into the corner trying to keep pace or make a pass on Brian McCann, and unfortunately the end result was contact with the 3. So again, a lot of short tracks, that's just kind of how it's worked. If you cause the accident, you go to the back. Intent is not even a factor. Which I kind of like. So as we get ready for a restart, it's going to be Brandon Mefford with the lead. Brent Butler will start to his outside. Then Chris Mefford, Casey Benz, Todd Kleek, Neil Quick. That's your top 6. William Tyndall, Zachary Kleek, 7-8. Kyle Pendergraft, Larry Bruner, the top 10. Pace car is in. Brandon Mefford, Brent Butler on the front row. Ready for a restart.
Green flag.
Green flag back in the air. Brandon Mefford through the gears. Mefford gets clear. Chris Mefford, though, side by side with Butler off turn number 2, battling for the second spot. Door to door in turns 3 and 4. Chris Mefford trying to follow in the tire tracks of Brandon Mefford. Chris still can't get clear of Butler. 45. Todd Kleek drove it way deep in. I don't know if he just missed his braking point, but he's going to lose a bunch of spots. Kleek slides back to the 14th spot. Meanwhile, Chris Mefford gets clear of Butler. William Tyndall in a battle for position with Kyle Pendergraft. Oh, Tyndall gets the curb. How did he not wreck everybody? Keeps it going straight. Job well done by the 8. But then Leclerc and I think McCann may have gotten the wall on the exit at turn 2. McCann was trying to stick with Kyle Terzak. Terzak's put 2 trucks between himself and the 3. McCann missed the corner there, went a little wide, gets on the throttle a little bit sooner than the 21. It really closed the gap back up. Terzak's working himself back up through the pack. He's in the 7th position with Zachary Kleek just ahead. Then it's Neil Quick and Casey Benz before he can work himself back into the top 3. Still got work to do, but plenty of time to do it. Back out front, it's Brandon Mefford and Chris Mefford, 1 and 2. These two guys, no strangers to short track racing either, but the caution is out. We've got big time trouble in turn 4. Chris Wally, we got Zachary Kleek, Larry Bruner, Brandon Leclerc. McCann's kind of trapped in this. Wally gets straightened back out, trying to get fired up here and go before he goes a lap down again. Here comes Brandon Mefford, the leader. Well, let's get a look, see what happened. This is Zachary Kleek here in the 77, and same thing we've seen by a lot of drivers here tonight. Just a little too hot on entry, truck steps out a bit. Terzak thought he might have had room to get to the inside, but makes contact with the 77, and looks like Terzak's going to get a piece of the wall here too. Pendergraft got a piece of it, Leclerc also. McCann just stops short of the whole accident scene, knowing it's just going to get worse, and it does just that. Got some takers for pit lane. Brent Butler is one of them. Mike Cook, Todd Kleek, Brendan Leclerc, William Tyndall, Chris Mefford, Chris Wally. It looks like Butler's changing his tune here. Looked like it was a fuel-only stop, so he edges forward and backs up to get the tires changed on that machine. So with that, we were going to try and take this at halfway, but we're going to have to do it right now. The HBR TV side-by-side break coming at you. We're only going to do one. We're going to jump out right now, but we will be side by side, as I said, so you won't miss a moment of the action. Stay with us. We'll be back after this.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Well, we're back at Martinsville Speedway. It appears I've lost my audio. You got my voice, but we don't have any race audio. Let's see if I can get that corrected here. And there we go. Minor panic moment, but that's okay. 94 laps complete here at Martinsville Speedway. 9th caution of the afternoon for Zachary Cleek. We're just wrapping that one up. We'll go back and take a second look at this. So the silver machine, the 77. Meanwhile, Tyndall was real loose on exit of 4, but he gathers it back up. Initially thought that might have had something to do with it, but that's not the case. Cleek gets to the outside, and again, we see those rear tires just losing traction, and around that truck goes. And we're not picking on Cleek here tonight. We've seen this out of many drivers tonight. Under braking, the rear end of the truck just wants to step out and come around. But there you have it. That's what puts us under caution number 9. Still behind the pace car with the lights on. So at least another lap before we go back to green. So we'll try it again here. Pace car hits pit lane. Mefford and Quick on the front row. Mefford with the older tires compared to Neil Quick. Not by a lot, about 6 laps. We'll see if it makes the difference. Green back in the air. Mefford on the jump. Great restart for the 83. And Neil Quick gets turned into turn number 1.
Caution, man. I didn't hear nothing.
Many drivers involved in this as well. Kyle Turzak, Casey Bentz, Larry Bruner. Quick trying to get righted here. Mike Cook involved in it as well. The 10th caution of the night. Let's get a look. Already involved here at this point. Let's back it up a little further and see what triggered this. So we see Quick in the black number 2 in front of Kyle Turzak. Turzak appeared to get a better restart than the 2. Really just drives in the back of Neil Quick, sends him up the track into the wall. This is on the straight before we've even gotten to the corner. Sends Neil down into Casey Bentz. Bentz catches the inside wall, which is going to send him back up into Quick, into Turzak. And Larry Bruner would know where to go. He's going to get a piece of the 27 as well. And then Leclerc and Cook with Todd Kleek. They have their own little incident below. So some drivers are going to hit pit lane here, likely for some damage repair. Brandon Leclerc, Casey Bentz, Neil Quick, Mike Cook. So caution number 10 is going to give Kyle Pendergraft the race lead. Tim Schofield's going to restart to the outside. Then it'll be Brian McCann, Chris Mefford, Brent Butler, Todd Kleek, William Tyndall, Zach Kleek, Chris Wally, and then Brandon Mefford, the top 10. Pace car is in. We wait for the green to come back out. We got to get through turns 3 and 4 first.
Flag.
Green back in the air, Pendergraft on the gas. We head down into 1. Chris Mefford swapping lanes into turns 1 and 2. Now he's 4th in line. Side-by-side battle for second between McCann and Schofield. Schofield on the run here. He looks to the inside of Pendergraft for the race lead. Slides up the track, maybe some contact in the middle of turn 4, but to the race lead goes Tim Schofield. So now the 12 takes over the top spot. Chris Mefford moves himself up into P2 and challenging for the race lead. Side-by-side battle with McCann and Pendergraft. Meanwhile, Tyndall rolls up alongside the 3 as well. He wants a piece of this action. Oh, Pendergraft real loose. He spins it out, or does he? He saves the truck. 3 wide for a moment as there's the slow truck up top. Pendergraft loses a bunch of track position. He slips back to the 10th spot. Somebody else in the wall. Is it Turzak? No, Todd Cleek. And caution comes out.
Anything to drink or anything like that?
William Tyndall possibly in trouble again as well. Caution number 11, lap 106. All right, let's see what happened to the 8 here. Looks very similar. We've seen this a bunch here tonight, and it looks like the truck just steps out under braking. Tyndall does a good job keeping it relatively straight. iRacing quick on the jump to throw the yellow there. I want to say it was Todd Cleek that had a near miss a moment ago too. Let's see if we can find that. Yeah, he was already slow. Just rewind this. Yeah, I did see a truck just go straight up the racetrack. Let's watch it here in real time. Watch the 45. See, he was losing it coming into the corner. This is very similar. We've seen this from a lot of drivers tonight. Rear end of the truck just steps out. We didn't get the caution for that, but about a half lap later, we did for the 8. So now Pendergraft, Chris Mefford, and Neil Quick are back in the pits, or at least completing their pit service. Chris Mefford there in behind the black machine, and then Neil Quick as well. So they rejoin the action. Short of the drivers that are out of this race, everybody's still on the lead lap. So even with all these cautions, still impressed to see. Got 16 trucks still in the hunt. So through that, Schofield and McCann will be on the front row. Schofield and McCann pit last at 73. Brent Butler was lap 85. Zachary Cleek was 92. And Brandon Mefford in 5th was lap 99, just about 10 plus laps ago. Some drivers that pit during this caution. It's Chris Mefford. Likely took some tires. Should get the one to go this time. 40 laps to go. It'll be 39 left when we take the green flag. Pace car hits pit lane. Schofield and McCann on the front row.
Ready, green, green, green.
Second row didn't get going. They spun the wheels, both of them. That was Cleek and Butler. Driving it down in turns 1 and 2. Cleek way up the racetrack. Turzak takes advantage. He jumps in between. Down the back straightaway, battle for the race lead. McCann to the outside. Butler reeling both of these drivers in quickly, but nowhere to go. And Zachary Cleek around off turn 4. Green flag stays out. So McCann takes over the top spot. Now the caution comes out. Not sure who's involved in it. It's Todd Cleek. So we'll back it up here to the incident we had off of turn 4 before the yellow flag. I think it was Cleek and Bruner. Take a look at that first. It's a 77 is Zachary Cleek. And he drives it in deep, but once you get above that concrete strip, the truck just does not turn. Bruner just stops, tries to get on the brakes to avoid contact, but spins a little bit. They make a little bit of a contact. That does not bring the yellow flag out. But the 45 in Todd Cleek, this one does bring out the yellow. Let's see what happens here. Todd to the inside of Mike Cook. 3 wide for a moment. He just gets turned, really, on the exit. Not sure if he was coming up or Cook was coming down. Combination of the two. Either way. 45 facing the wrong direction for a moment, long enough to bring out the yellow. We'll be back after this, folks. Spartan Transportation and Spartan Logistic Management is your one source for all your shipping needs. 53-foot dry van shipments, auto transport shipments, full-service in-house brokerage, drop-lot facilities, just-in-time deliveries to all auto manufacturers, facilities in St. Louis, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, and Indianapolis, Indiana. Spartan Logistics LLC, proud sponsor of the IROC Series, Kyle Steffens UMP Modified and Silver Crown Driver, and Gordy Gundaker, World of Outlaws late model. Visit us at spartan-logistics.net or find us on Facebook. Back at Martinsville Speedway, working caution number 12. Pace car lights out, getting ready for the restart as the pace car hits turn 3, entrance to pit lane. To Brian McCann and Schofield. Schofield to the outside now.
Green flag.
McCann on the jump on the restart, puts 2 truck lengths between himself and the rest of the field. With a 3-wide, almost 3-wide battle for the second spot. Bedford thought about going up the gut, didn't do it eventually. Schofield holds on to the second spot. Brent Butler pressuring into turn 3. Gets alongside, cautions back out again.
Yeah, did my radio sound bad?
Kyle Terzak facing the wrong way. Caution 13. All right, let's see what happened here to the 51. I wonder if this was some Neil Quick payback. It's just kind of a guess, but let me see. Terzak to the inside of Zachary Cleek. Trying to get a better angle on this. I mean, Terzak's still alongside Zachary Kleek there, and it just looks like Terzak takes a hard right. There we go. Just trying to find the right angle. It's a mistake we don't see very often out of the 51, but yeah, it definitely had a truck there at least halfway up the right side door of the 51, and Terzak just turns hard right, trying to get a better approach to the corner, but not clear. Mike Cook in the chat just responds with a T. I'm not sure why. Maybe I missed something. I don't know. Watch the field rolling through under caution as we get ready for yet another restart. It's drone footage. Part of the camera pack, courtesy of Whiplash Sim Cams. Andrew makes great camera packs, but the best part about it is he continuously updates them. Always getting better. Field off at turn 4, ready for the restart here. Lap 125 about to go up, 26 to go. McCann on the jump again. Schofield with a good restart as well. He gets in behind but slides up the track just a little bit. Butler may have gotten into the back of him. Zachary Kleek real wide on the exit at turn number 2. Side-by-side battle for the third spot. Butler and Brandon Mefford side-by-side now off turn number 4. Mefford to the outside. Oh, and Tyndall on the wall. Trouble off turn 4. Cross-start finish. We still stay under the green flag. Tyndall loose again now into turn 1. It looks like Bristol dirt out here. Tyndall still trying to drive that truck, but he's definitely got something broken, I would assume, in the right front of that truck. Oh, and he loses it again. And there's the caution.
Really doing a great job, man. We'll keep working on this thing for you. How you doing inside there? You feeling okay?
So caution number 14 for William Tyndall. William had an incident prior to this that should have brought out the yellow. It just didn't. About a lap and a half later, we finally got it for another incident involving the 8. Now Chris Wally's going to hit pit lane here. Wally pitting from the top 10. Casey Bentz follows the 75 down. William Tyndall going to do the same. So with 21 laps to go, we work caution number 14. McCann is out in front. Mefford runs second. Now, we've had a lot of laps between these two as far as pit stops go. McCann's stop was at lap 73. Brandon Mefford was at lap 99. But the caveat to all this, we seem to be getting cautions here about every 3 or 4 laps, so there's not a whole lot of green flag on the tires of Brian McCann. Are they equal to Brandon Mefford at this point? I'm going to say probably not, but are they good enough for him to try and hold off the 83? Well, the fact that he hasn't come to pit lane to bolt on 4 fresh tires tells me he thinks so. We're going to find out. Field doubled up behind the pace car as it gets ready to head down into turn 3 pit entry. Let's try it again, shall we? Be 18 to go when we cross the stripe. Brian McCann, your race leader. Brandon Mefford to the outside. Then it's Butler and Schofield in row 2. Green is in the air. McCann fires off. Decent jump this time. He gets clear. Mefford into turn 1. Side-by-side battle for third again. Butler and Schofield. Back to start finish. 1 green flag lap complete. McCann ahead of Mefford, then Butler. Butler got clear to Schofield. Top 5 single file. Behind them there is a battle. Turzak, Kyle Pendergraft side by side. Turzak takes the spot. Now he sets his sights on Chris Mefford. Loose on exit. Chris Mefford does the same, drives way to the bottom of the racetrack. There's no way this is going to work, and it does. Chris Mefford alongside Tim Schofield for position. Move Mefford up into the 4th spot. Top 3 starting to get away a bit. McCann, Mefford, and Butler. Race leader Brian McCann, the oldest tires, and Todd Cleek is around in the front stretch. 15th caution of the night.
Double-check that for us, please.
It's been a rough one here tonight in the IROC Challenge Series. Certainly not the norm. It seems like Martinsville is the Achilles heel, however. See if we can figure out what happened here with the 45 just a moment ago. We go a little further back, see if we can unpack a little more, but it looks like a single truck incident. Todd Cleek loose on exit. Can't catch up with it. Locks her down after making contact with the inside safer barrier, and it puts us under the yellow yet again. Looks like Brandon Leclerc and Larry Bruner may have had an issue as well. Let's see if we can catch this. '21 is Leclerc to the outside of William Tyndall. Yep, Leclerc just loses the back end of the truck too. We've seen a lot of this tonight. Track temperature being up in the 130s and the rear tires just do not want to get into the racetrack. Real fine line of balancing out that brake bias. Larry Bruner went around 2. We'll see what happened here with the 44. It looks like it was more of the same. No contact, just rear brake, locked him up, spun it around. So 3 trucks in 1 lap, all with the same issue. Single truck incidents, but 3 of them at the same time. So we go back to what we spoke about earlier about Brian McCann having the oldest set of tires in the top 5, but managing to maintain that top spot. He always fires off good on the restart, so that's been a big benefit to him. And this, it really hasn't run long enough under green after halfway, really, for the new tires to come in enough to be that much of an advantage versus McCann. Yes, McCann pit at lap 73, but we run 2 or 3 laps under green, and then the yellow comes out. 2 or 3 laps under green, then the yellow comes out. I'd be hard-pressed to believe that McCann's tires have even gotten up to full operating temperature yet. So far, that seems to be his saving grace. We'll see if he can hold off Brandon Mefford yet again here as we get ready for another restart.
Green flag.
Green flag flies. McCann on the jump again. Mefford trying to hold him down. Little contact from his brother, Chris. Now Butler gets to the inside of Brandon Mefford in 1 and 2. Oh, Butler goes around.
Guys, let's get some rags to clean this mess up here. Coming into the box is the part that I'm mainly concerned about.
Caution number 16 with 9 laps to go. Butler now goes around. Saw it somewhat live. We'll see if we can get a better look at it. So Chris Mefford gets into the back of Brandon Mefford, which sends him down into Butler there. Butler battling for that second spot. Might have been a combination getting the curb and getting the push from Kyle Terzak. Around goes the 76. Butler making a second pit stop. Butler using his first fast repair of the night. Butler's going to get back out there with a fresh race truck, new tires. Again, there's only going to be a few laps left in this thing, but we do have the opportunity at 3 green, white, checkered finishes, if so necessary. By the way this one's going, it's got a high probability. McCann still able to hold off Brandon Mefford and others, but it has not been easy, and it seems that every restart becomes a little bit more challenging for the 3. Brandon Mefford really held the 3 down, was right on his door coming to green. Again, 150 laps the race distance here tonight. at the restart here with 3 laps remaining. So front row, Brian McCann, Brandon Mefford. Row 2, Chris Mefford, Kyle Turzak, then Tim Schofield and Kyle Pendergraft, the top 6. Green flag
Ready,
back
green,
in
green,
the
green,
air. McCann gets the jump over Brandon Mefford. A great jump this time, and more contact into the back of Brandon Mefford as he's now alongside of Brian McCann. 2.5 laps to go. McCann clear down the back straightaway. Chris Mefford dive bombs into turn 3, way deep, gets up on the curb, slides up the racetrack into his brother and opens the door for Kyle Turzak. 3 wide off turn 4, and Chris Mefford goes around.
Caution. How you doing in there, kid?
Oh, it's a good thing Thanksgiving isn't next week, because the Meffords will not be talking to each other. So you see it here, 3 wide. Brandon Mefford stays tight on the right rear of Chris Mefford. This late in the race, if you're not clear, you're not clear. I can't expect Brandon to check up and give the 46 the space. If he's still there, he's still there. Now, if it was lap 5 or 6, yeah, absolutely. You check up, you let him go, you fight another day. But they make contact nonetheless. The 46 getting the Rost end of the deal. So this is going to send us into overtime, our 17th caution of the night. With that, we're going to take a short break. We'll be back after this. Spartan Transportation and Spartan Logistic Management is your one source for all your shipping needs. 53-foot dry van shipments, auto transport shipments, full-service in-house brokerage, drop lot facilities, just-in-time deliveries to all auto manufacturers, facilities in St. Louis, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, and Indianapolis, Indiana. Spartan Logistics LLC, proud sponsor of the IROC Series, Kyle Steffens UMP Modified and Silver Crown Driver, and Gordy Gundaker, World of Outlaws Late Model. Visit us at spartan-logistics.net or find us on Facebook. Back at Martinsville Speedway on our first attempt at a green-white checkered finish. The pace car about to hit pit lane. Front row is going to be Brian McCann and Kyle Turzak. Now, Turzak made a pit stop at lap 114, taking on 4 fresh tires. McCann might be in trouble here. We'll see how this plays out. Pace car is in.
Green flag.
Green back in the air. Good jump for Brian McCann, but a good reaction for Turzak. Turzak's going to slot back in behind. 2 laps to go for Martinsville. Contact from Brandon Mefford to the back of the 51. Everybody clear through turn 2. McCann continues to lead. Contact from Turzak. Moves the 3 up the racetrack. Opens the door for the 51. Is it going to be enough? Turzak's got to try it again. Maybe have to make more contact into turn 3. He does it again. Sends the 3 up the racetrack. Brian on the throttle. Down the straightaway again. Still not enough. Turzak back in behind. Does he get to the inside? He does. White flag lap here. Checkered flag is waving. Side-by-side battle for the race lead and the win at Martinsville. And Turzak's going to win it. Turzak slides it down into the wall in turn number 1. McCann will finish second. Brandon Mefford comes home in P3. Turzak parks it on the start-finish line after taking the victory. Might have been the only lap he led all night long. We're going to step aside quickly here, be back shortly with our top 3 finishers after this. Stay with us.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
met Marco Scarza.
Back at Martinsville Speedway, race number 7 in the books for the IROC Challenge Series. Kyle Turzak picking up his first win of the season in dramatic fashion. So you can talk to the driver of the 51 machine. Kyle, it's Steve with HBR TV. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Kyle, congratulations, man. I think the only lap of the race that you led tonight, but it was the one that mattered, the checkered flag lap. Walk us through your race, and then more importantly, that green-white checkered finish. We know you took tires there late, about lap 114. McCann was lap 73, I think it was. Took you some effort, a little bit of bump and run and that kind of thing. You didn't wreck them, but man, it was crazy out of turn number 4. Walk us through that last lap.
Yeah, actually, I wasn't even supposed to race today. Had a little bit of an emergency there in the household, but we got in my brother's room, and I was not even comfortable, and came out there qualifying and just made warm-up laps, and then started in the rear. And I know the track temp was really high tonight, which usually isn't, which usually happens on a short track for some reason. Coincidence? I think not. Nah, I'm kidding. And I think honestly, the hot tracks are actually pretty good for me because I like saving the right rear a whole bunch, and just got in some incidents that I didn't want to get into. That clique incident. I just got netcode so bad, it was terrible, and honestly, I didn't even expect to win tonight. To be honest with you, I was just coming here hopefully to get a top 5 because I'm basically in a new spot and I'm not used to this environment, and for me, that's very important, getting used to where you're racing, at least on iRacing in real life. So, go ahead.
Go ahead, Kyle.
I wasn't thinking I was going to win or even race today. So to get this actually really surprised me, and I didn't want to race McCann like that, but we're coming to the checkered, so.
I think Brian's okay with the way that one ended up. You didn't wreck the guy. You got into him a couple of times there, as you really kind of have to at this place. But let's back up a little bit there. The contact with McCann earlier in the race that did actually send him into the fence and spun him around. I don't think that was intentional either, watching the replay. But what was it like from your perspective? What exactly happened there when you got into the 3 and sent him around?
Yeah, on that restart right there, I finally got in the second, and then I got a good restart, and I was barely clear, so I had to go a little bit harder in, and out of nowhere the truck just snapped entry, and I had to correct it, and when I corrected it, it barely sent him around. Like I didn't even get an X until he spun. It was so close that I thought we were fine, but then I saw him go around, which I always don't want to race like that, and I took the EO right there out of courtesy because I just don't want to race like that. So very hard getting back to the front, I will tell you what, with all these cautions. It was not easy at all.
Yeah, that was kind of the question. You kind of fell on the sword there as your short track routes would kind of dictate. You decided to go to the back after that contact, work your way back up through. That's difficult enough in itself, but we remember last season you running the late model stock. You were absolutely lights out in that car. I know you're much more comfortable in that sort of vehicle. What has been the change like, the adjustment in driving these trucks compared to that late model?
These have a lot less grip, but also these are a lot more. At the start, though, if this makes sense, at the start they are very more grippy, but towards the end they're less grippy. So you got to definitely keep care of your tires and the trucks more than the late model. And I know here we usually shift in late models, and in here we didn't, but we were very close, I won't lie. But the trucks actually here is probably my favorite combo, so I'm glad that we got to run this in the trucks.
Well, we go from Martinsville Speedway to Texas Motor Speedway here on, I think, the 21st, couple of weeks out. What's your mindset rolling into Texas? Obviously much different racetrack than this place, but still pretty tough on tires.
I don't even think I have the track, to be honest with you, so probably need to get that and do some testing, and hopefully beat McCann somewhere that isn't on a short track.
Well, first win of the season, Kyle. Congratulations, man. Who do you want to thank?
Yeah, I just want to thank you for the broadcast, Team Watson Setup Shop, RCAM Setup Shop, for everything they do for me, Chris for putting this league on, Crow Sim Shots, Yeah.
All right, Kyle. Well, that'll do it, man. Thanks for talking to us. Good luck at Texas.
Thank you.
Scott Turzak, your race winner here at Martinsville Speedway. Next, we're going to talk to runner-up Brian McCann. Had this thing in the bag. He really led the majority of the last half of this race. Granted, it was mostly under caution. That caution's able to stretch those tires a little bit further than I think even Brian McCann had expected, but not quite enough at the end. Brian, it's Steve in the booth. You got me?
I do.
Brian, congratulations, man. Tough break. Still a second place finish, so a solid points night. And you got 3 wins in the bank, so it's not going to hurt you too terribly bad. But walk us through your strategy in the last half of this race. I know you made the pit stop before halfway, lap 73. Managed to stretch that tire set all the way to the finish. Granted, the cautions, as we said, probably helped that quite a bit. But was that still the difference maker in the end with Turzak getting around?
It helped. I only had one set from that lap 80 whenever I pitted or whatever. So I was trying to determine when to use it, but we just kept getting caution after caution after caution. So I never used it. So, that hurt me a little bit. Tire definitely there at the end was a little bit worn out compared to everybody else, but track position was huge with all those cautions. And I wanted that last set of tires, but because just 10 green flag laps was huge difference, and if you could have some green flag run, then you can really get back up to the front if you needed to.
Well, certainly the green flag laps that we did have were very entertaining, certainly those last couple. Let's walk through that green-white checkered finish. You got a decent jump on Turzak, but again, you said the tires were part of it. What was the next part of it?
Oh, he played it perfect. He every single turn he would hit me and push me into the turn, and that would cause me to use more right front. And there at the last turn, I had pretty much no right front left. I hit the wall. It just wouldn't turn because of the previous turns.
Well, with all that said, still a second place finish to wrap things up here at Martinsville. We look forward to Texas Motor Speedway. That's kind of more in your wheelhouse. I know you're a big fan of Charlotte Motor Speedway. Texas is similar but different. How do you feel about your chances to pick up win number 4 at the next race?
Oh yeah, Texas. That's my style of track. So we'll be should be out pretty strong on that one.
Looking forward to it, Brian. Congratulations again, man. Who do you want to shout out to?
Yeah, my family. Wally for putting on this show, this league, and the sponsors for helping us out. You for doing a broadcast. Drivers for showing up. 18 drivers a night. Good to see them on this short track. Everybody in the chat and everybody watching. Thank you.
All right, Brian. Well, thanks for talking to us, man. Good luck in a couple weeks.
Thanks.
Brian McCann, your runner-up here at Martinsville. Next, we'll talk to the third place finisher, Brandon Mefford, who I'm sure is going to have some things to talk about, but we'll get to all of that here in just a moment. Brandon Mefford, it's Steve with HBR TV. You got a copy?
I got you, buddy.
Brandon, congratulations, man. Third place finish if you're starting on the front row. A rough night, lots of cautions to deal with, restart after restart after restart. Walk us through that final green-white checkered finish. I know leading into that there was some contact with Chris Mefford. We'll talk about that in just a moment, but talk about that green-white checkered.
Yeah, that green-white checkered, it turned out pretty fun. It was a good show there. I wanted to be on their bumpers because I figured somebody was going to move somebody, and I was hoping to be there to capitalize. And I had a plan to go in the last corner and bump Kyle into Brian, see if I couldn't open a hole there, but none of that panned out. Brian's right front gave away, he said, and he moved up the racetrack and pretty much drove it into the fence. And so I was hoping to make it a 3-wide deal there going across our finish line just for some fun.
Either way, a very exciting finish for a race that had its share of cautions, certainly, but track temperature, I think, had a lot to do with that. Certainly the new tire model didn't help things either. But let's back up a little bit here. Your incident with brother Chris, the 46 machine, you guys were 3 wide. You did still have a nose in there. What exactly happened, at least what it looked like out the windshield of your machine as you came out of the corner?
Getting into the corner, I thought Chris overdrove the corner, and so I moved up in case he hit the apron, and we didn't want to crash. And the next thing you know, they're yelling 3 wide at me, and I got up near the fence. I guess I had another foot or two. I could have got up there higher, but I wasn't lifting. We were too late in the race, and I thought with Kyle down below and my brother in the middle, I thought we had a chance at coming out of that corner okay, and it just got tight there, and it hooked his right front or his right rear, and I put him in the fence, and then I just ended up turning left to try to get away from him and keep my position. And yeah, it sucks for him. He had a good truck, but everybody just going for the win. They're on a short track the way you're supposed to.
Well, it was certainly entertaining to watch. You just wonder if there's going to be any arguments post-race between you and your brother. We made a mention in the broadcast that it's a good thing that Thanksgiving isn't next week.
I think he understood where we were. We were in the same chat anyways. We talked about it. And I could tell he wasn't happy about it, but at the same time, we both competitors. We want to win. We know where each of us is coming from.
You guys both had a strong night tonight. Impressive run for sure. Good finish out of you in the 83, finishing in the third spot. So congratulations at that. I know that there's an important event coming up here pretty soon on the 28th. Why don't you go ahead and talk about that? Obviously, the Care for Kids 200, that's a big deal for you guys. Why don't you tell us the details on that one?
Yeah, thanks, Steve, for the opportunity. Just so everybody knows, October 28th, we have our annual Care for Kids 200 in these trucks at Michigan Speedway. And, we've got asking for donations to enter that race at $15. There's a flyer out there. Hopefully somebody can get it to everybody. But, all we're trying to do is to help improve a kid's life out of two great organizations for Ellie's Place and Zoe's Place. So we've raised roughly $5,000 in 3 races. We're getting a late start this year, so we're just hoping to do a little bit of good and send some money their way. So anybody out there that can't race, that wants to see money go to a good cause, we send this to the kids and help them out in their tough times. So join the race. We'd love to have 43 trucks if we could. And like I said, if anybody would be willing to donate, wants to sponsor the race, wants to give a prize away, we'll get you out there, get your name going. It is going to be broadcast by you, Steve, so appreciate you coming on board. That's a big deal. We've been trying to get this deal together with you for a few years, and things finally lined up for us. So happy to have HBR TV and IROC helping support this deal, but super excited to get it going.
We do have that flyer actually up on the screen right now. So for more details, if you're interested, check out iroc-series.com/care-for-kids for more information. Again, that'll be at Michigan Speedway on October the 28th, 7:30 Eastern time is when the practice goes up. Race will be 8:45 p.m. in the East. 100 laps in the trucks at Michigan. It's going to be a blast. That place just puts on an incredible show at Michigan, so we're certainly looking forward to that. Brandon, again, congratulations on the the third place finish here tonight. We're looking forward to that race certainly on the 28th, man, but who else do you want to shout out to before I let you get out of here?
Yeah, real quick, I got to give kudos to Chris Wally. He's really pushed this whole charity race thing. Doug and I have been super busy and just our normal lives, and Chris done his darndest to put this flyer out and make sure that we still had this race this year. We were going to skip a year, but thanks to him, we're still going to put it on. So huge shout out to him. If you guys, anybody talks to him, give him a huge thank you. And then everybody over at my Charity Motorsports team, everybody's doing their own little thing. We're missing a few guys tonight, but love racing with those guys. Thanks to everybody here at IROC and all the sponsors that help put this on. And then to my family and all the fans out there watching, we appreciate everything you guys do for us.
All right, Brandon. Well, thanks for talking to us. We certainly look forward to it, man. Good luck at Texas in a couple weeks.
Thanks a lot, Steve.
Brandon Mefford, your third place finisher here at Martinsville Speedway. Let's take a look at our race results after talking to our top 3. That was Kyle Terzak, Brian McCann, and Brandon Mefford. Timmy Schofield finishes out in the 4th position. 5th went to Neil Quick. Mike Cook was 6th. William Tyndall 7th. Casey Bentz was 8th. Chris Wally atop 10 in the 9th position. Kyle Pendergraft was 10th. 11th went to Zachary Cleek. Brent Butler was 12th. Larry Bruner 13th. Brandon LeClaire finishes in the 14th spot. Todd Cleek 15th. 16th went to Chris Mefford. Tough night for the 46. A strong run. Not the finish he was looking for. Duke Quick was 17th, and Adam Benefield was 18th. 156 laps down. Out of this one very, very early. Tough break for the 9. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight, though. A tough night for caution, certainly. Again, that's not the norm. If you're still here watching, we appreciate you sticking around for it. Go ahead and like the stream if you haven't already done so. It does help us, even though we had a rough night with the cautions. We want some fresh eyeballs on the channel and fresh eyeballs on the league. We got better racing to come here. Texas Motor Speedway here on the 21st, and then, of course, on the 28th, we've got the Care for Kids 200 at Michigan, so make sure you guys are available to watch that one. That's going to be the most fun. That's going to be just a bunch of guys getting together, maybe even some gals, depending on who joins the race, putting on a good show and having a good time for a good cause. That's always a positive. So check that out as well. If you haven't already liked and subscribed, please do that. YouTube.com/@HBRTV and the number 1. Some possible changes coming in the very near future for HBR TV and its branding, but stay tuned for that. More details to follow somewhere down the line. I don't even have dates for you yet, but we'll be sure to let everybody know here when that time arrives. Again, congratulations, Kyle Turzak, picking up his first win on the season here at Martinsville. We'll see you guys in a couple of weeks out at Texas Motor Speedway. Thanks for watching, everybody.